You ever get that feeling that you're not totally in control? Like there are these invisible forces kind of guiding your decisions, your feelings, even the way you see reality? Well, guess what? You're not wrong. Turns out we're all running on a set of invisible scripts. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly what they are and how they're running the show. So let's just dive right in with the big question. Why do you feel what you feel or think what you think? Why do you connect with people the way you do? The answer, and it's a really fascinating one, starts way, way before you ever scrolled on a phone. It all begins with a script that was written for us when we were just babies. Let's start right there. Okay, first up is the big one, the most foundational script of them all, our relational blueprint. You can think of this as the core programming that gets installed in us in our earliest moments. It pretty much shapes how we connect with other people for the rest of our lives. Now, this idea is explained by this really powerful concept called attachment theory. And the core idea, it's actually pretty simple. As babies, we are biologically hardwired to form these super deep emotional bonds with our caregivers. It's all about survival, right? But here's the kicker. The quality of that bond, whether it was secure or rocky, sets the stage for basically every relationship you'll have from then on. And this bond doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It develops in these really predictable stages. As you can see, we go from just a general need for anyone's care to forming a very specific, powerful connection with our main caregivers. This whole process is so critical because it's literally building the software for how we learn to trust people. And here's where it gets really, really personal. Those early patterns, they translate almost one-to-one into how we act in our adult relationships. A secure childhood, that sets you up with a great foundation for trust. But look at the others. If care was inconsistent or distant, it can create these lifelong patterns of either avoiding getting too close or constantly fearing that people will leave. Just take a second. Do any of these feel a little familiar? So that first script, that's one that's written for us. But our second invisible script, well, that's one we rewrite and reinforce ourselves every single day. It's the script of our mindset, and it basically determines if you see the world as a place of scarcity or a place of endless possibility. At its heart, this script really comes down to a choice. Is the world a place of lack or a place of abundance? The scarcity mindset is totally driven by the fear that there's not enough to go around. Not enough success, not enough money, not enough opportunity. But an abundance mindset, it believes there's plenty for everyone, which, as you can imagine, leads to way more cooperation and creativity. Stephen Covey just nailed the scarcity mindset with this perfect metaphor of the finite pie. It's his belief that if someone else succeeds, that means there's less for you. That is such a powerful and limiting script. It's a single idea that can just completely shut down teamwork and kill growth. So we've got scripts from our past and scripts running in our minds. But here's the thing. These scripts almost never stay inside our own heads. They leak out. They spread from person to person in ways we don't even realize. This is the script of contagion. And it's a really powerful idea to wrap your head around. Your feelings can spread like a virus. Seriously, your emotions aren't just your own private experience. They're infectious. They can totally change the vibe of a room, an office, or even your own family. There's a scientific name for this. It's called emotional contagion. It's that strange thing that happens when you unconsciously catch someone else's feelings. It happens because you automatically start to mirror their smile or their frown or even how they're standing. And by doing that, you actually start to feel what they're feeling. It's kind of wild. And the way it works is a simple little two-step loop. First, we mimic someone's expression without even thinking about it. Then our brain reads our own facial expression and creates that same emotion inside us. It's this powerful, automatic process that's happening all the time, completely under the radar. Okay, so we have scripts from our childhood, scripts in our heads, and scripts that spread between us. Now, let's talk about the modern force that takes all of those things and basically puts them on steroids. I'm talking about the algorithmic amplifier. This brings us to something called the filter bubble. The term was coined by Eli Pariser, and it's basically your own unique, personalized universe of information built just for you by algorithms. It's designed to show you stuff it thinks you'll like, but the huge side effect is that it can invisibly shield you from anything and everything that challenges your worldview. So how does this bubble even get made? Well, it all starts with you. Every single click, every like, every share, every single comment you make is a signal. You're constantly feeding the algorithm information about what you're into. Then the algorithm takes all those little signals and it gets to work. Think of it like a prediction engine. It's always building and tweaking this model of who it thinks you are, and more importantly, what you're going to want to click on next. So as the algorithm gets smarter about you, your feed actually starts to get narrower. It just shows you more and more of the stuff you've already liked, creating this echo chamber of content that just reinforces what it already thinks you believe. And the final step? You can get trapped. This digital bubble, it doesn't just show you things, it actively confirms and amplifies your personal reality. It takes those internal mindsets we talked about and the emotions you catch from others and just turns the volume all the way up. So you have to ask why? Why does this happen? Well, just follow the money. This isn't some accident. It is the entire business model. That number you see, $86 billion, that was Facebook's ad revenue in just 1 year. All money made by keeping us engaged and locked inside these bubbles. There's a massive, massive financial incentive to keep these scripts running. All right, let's put this all together. We've looked at 4 really powerful invisible scripts, and when you understand how they all connect, it gives you a completely new lens for seeing why we and the world around us operate the way we do. Think about it like a chain reaction. It starts deep inside with our personal relational blueprint. That blueprint helps shape our internal mindset. Then that mindset spreads to others through social contagion. And now, today, that whole system gets supercharged by algorithmic amplification. It's this huge, powerful feedback loop running in the background of all of our lives. Which really leaves us with one last and, I think, pretty empowering question. The first step to changing any system is just to see it clearly. So now that you can see these invisible scripts running your life, can you start to write your own?